Hi there. I'm glad to welcome you to my channel, World of Stories. I have a lot of interesting life stories that I want to share with you. Enjoy listening.
Ms. Martha anxiously looked at her granddaughter. The elderly woman's agitation was so strong that she involuntarily moved her hand, which was wrapped in a blood pressure cuff. However, the family doctor, with the sternness of a primary school teacher, noticed and said, "Grandma, I asked you to lie still, but your hands are twitching. I'll have to measure again." The patient made an expressive gesture that spoke volumes about her dissatisfaction. "Why waste time if everything is already clear?" she said with a voice that conveyed both despair and indignant. But Kate was long accustomed to her grandmother's maneuvers. Ignoring the old lady's sighs, she pumped up the cuff to the maximum once again. Ms. Martha let out a small cry for appearance's sake, but didn't express her feelings in words. She watched her granddaughter's actions, waiting for the verdict of doom, but Kate didn't fulfill those expectations. "Grandma, they could enroll you in the astronaut team. 130/80 is the result of a well-trained athlete, and that's at your age of 80 with a little extra." The tone of her granddaughter didn't sit well with Ms. Martha, let alone the results of the examination. Pretending to be seriously ill, she changed her position from lying down to sitting. "The machine is lying, you can throw it away. It's a shame mine broke at the wrong time. It always showed the right readings. I can feel by my condition that my pressure is skyrocketing, not less than 200. Kate understood the intricacies of her grandmother's character perfectly well, and wasn't even offended by the assessment of the imported device's capabilities. "Well, if you don't trust me, let me call an ambulance then." In an instant, Ms. Martha's expression changed, and her large body expressed outrage. With a bloodthirsty triumph in her voice, she declared, "There it is, the dog is buried. I knew it, I felt it. You and your mother want to send me to the hospital to finish me off for good." Kate laughed. "Grandma, hospitals are where people get treated, and you're telling such tales. Our attempts to reason with you and Mom's efforts are signs of caring, if anything. You have no idea how much we love you." The granddaughter hugged the woman tightly and kissed her deeply wrinkled cheek. Ms. Martha was moved. Such moments were the dearest thing to her in the whole world. The weight of the years lived had left many wounds on the heart of the elderly lady, and not all of them had fully healed yet. That's why she longed for her family to pay more attention to her. Today, too closer to morning, she felt uncomfortable in the presence of loneliness, which seemed to lurk in every corner. In those moments, she became very scared, which is why she called Kate. But the young woman didn't reproach her relative for such an early phone call. Remembering it now, Ms. Martha decided to apologize. "Kate, please forgive me for waking you up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but it seemed to me that an old lady with a scythe was standing by the bed. I understand that it's time to get ready, but I still want to live a little longer." "It's okay, Grandma. I have to be at work by 8 o'clock anyway, and I don't like your gloomy mood. They say that as long as a person is alive, they should think about life. I do try to think, but when I look in the mirror, I get scared." Ms. Martha was clearly being flirtatious because she looked quite good for her age. Despite her advanced years, the woman took care of herself and loved wearing new outfits. Her daughter and granddaughter tried to fulfill her every desire, and Miranda, Kate's mother, had offered many times for her to move into her spacious apartment. But the stubborn grandmother categorically rejected such a possibility. "I've never lived in a communal apartment, and I want to die in my own flat. Mr. Wilson and I earned these square meters with our hard work." Ms. Martha loved using her own life as an example for others. She would take any convenient opportunity to involve her interlocutor in her memories. While Kate prepared breakfast in the kitchen, her grandmother didn't miss the chance to engage in conversation. "If only you knew, granddaughter, how difficult those times were. Hunger, devastation, instability, yet people walked around happy because they valued life. Nowadays, money is valued more." Kate entered the small living room with a tray in hand. "Everything's ready. Let's have breakfast, or I really will be late for work. You young people are always in a rush, but where are you hurrying to? You get married in a hurry and then get divorced. Tell me, Kate, will I live to see great-grandchildren? The grandmother had brought up this topic before, but the young woman always joked it off. Well, to give you great-grandchildren, I need to at least get married first. Ms. Martha set her cup aside and fixed her curious gaze on her granddaughter's face. So what's the matter then? Are there no men left in the country? Look, your grandfather Wilson came back from the war with one leg missing, and there was no shortage of brides for him. But Grandpa chose you. With pride, the elderly woman declared. And who else could he have chosen if not a hard-working woman like me? I have so many certificates, and I even have an award from the government. At that time, such girls were highly valued. And your grandfather, despite his disability, was quite a catch. He had an eye for work and other women. So, I had to stay alert all the time. Kate was familiar with her grandmother's love story, but new details emerged every time. Ms. Martha had never mentioned before that Mr. Wilson had a weakness for women. You never told me about Grandpa's escapades, Granny. A heavy sigh was heard. It's not customary to speak ill of the dead. Your grandfather drank my blood, but I still loved him and forgave everything. Nowadays, it's so simple. If something goes wrong, people scatter in different directions. But we endured because we were ashamed. And we also felt sorry for the children. Wilson fathered 3 right away. The women on the construction site used to laugh at me and say, Martha, you go to the maternity hospital as if you're going to work every year and almost at the same time. That's what our life was like, and we truly loved each other. Kate looked at the antique clock, ticking away relentlessly. Of course, Grandma, I always enjoy talking to you, but I don't want to be late for work. And don't worry about me. I want to tell you a secret that your wish might come true soon. Ms. Martha briskly stood up, forgetting about her hypertension. Really, Kate? Tell me, who is he? You understand what I mean, don't you? What's there to be unclear about? Just remember, don't tell anyone yet. The old woman winked conspiratorially. I won't give it away. But I still don't know what will happen between Bill and me. He's a simple and very kind guy. We've been dating for almost a year now. Are your mother and father aware? Well, I told you that you're the first person I shared my secret with. The girl quickly cleared the table and was about to leave, but she stopped, remembering something important. Grandma, why do you want to wait for great-grandchildren so much? Ms. Martha let out another expressive sigh. I don't know if it's true or not, but they say that a woman who has the joy of taking care of great-grandchildren is forgiven for all her sins. Kate laughed. I never suspected you were superstitious. That's news to me. A hard worker, a communist, and belief in omens, it doesn't all go together. Life is such a thing that sometimes incompatible things happen. Who would have thought before that the world would turn upside down like this? Kate walked to the bus stop, unable to shake off her grandmother's last remark about the upside-down world. Mentally, she acknowledged the old woman's wisdom because, indeed, everything had changed so much in the past few years. That's why many people tried to preserve the goodness and unity they had before. As soon as the girl crossed the threshold of the office where 12 employees managed to coexist peacefully, Linda immediately called out to her. Why are you late? The boss has already been here, luckily she didn't notice your absence. And why are you all radiant, my friend? In response, Kate asked, what do you mean? Can you elaborate? Well, you're glowing. Only brides and Christmas trees shine like that. What day is it today? First, my grandmother was asking me early in the morning when I'm getting married, and now you. Alright, fine, I'll share some relevant information with you. I'm not planning a wedding yet, but I might be suitable for the role of a Christmas tree. Oh, you're joking. I won't give up on you anyway. I know perfectly well that things are serious between you and Bill, so I hope to be a bridesmaid at your wedding. I'll bask a little in someone else's happiness. The desks of the two friends were pushed close together, allowing them to exchange secrets without drawing attention from the entire accounting department. Kate moved even closer to Linda. I don't understand. It seemed like everything was fine with Kevin. Honestly, I even envied you guys. Well, my dear, love has passed, and the tomatoes have withered. What's the reason? Did he lie or betray you? Oh, no. It would take a lot of effort for me to lie. It's just that times are tough now, my friend. And Kevin is struggling to make ends meet through odd jobs. But I'm young and beautiful, and I want to have fun, preferably every day. This confession shocked Kate. What about love then? Linda looked at her friend as if seeing her for the first time. I never thought you were so naive. Love is when you have the opportunity to satisfy your little whims at someone else's expense. That's why I let Kevin go. But your Bill is completely different. You know, there's a certain air about him, even though he's still so young. It's strange, of course. I thought you understood all this, which is why you two are together. Kate didn't like how her friend was judging her boyfriend as if he were not a real person, but a means to an end. Linda, let's focus on work, otherwise we'll get in trouble for chatting. The girl made a funny face but followed her friend's advice. After that conversation, Kate felt an unpleasant aftertaste, but Linda was not bothered by her friend's changing mood and her reluctance to return to that topic. At the end of the workday, Linda asked to be accompanied. It's so boring to be alone. Let's take a walk together. Kate felt uncomfortable refusing her best friend, so she reluctantly agreed to the plan. Although she had different plans for the evening, knowing Linda, she realized it would take a long time. All right, I'll try to comfort you a bit, but Bill will be waiting for me. We wanted to go to the movies. Linda happily clapped her mittened hands together with snowflake patterns. Hooray! I haven't been to the movies in ages. Kate didn't have a chance to mention that they had planned to go to the movies together. When Bill saw that Kate arrived for their date accompanied by her friend, he didn't show any surprise. He had met Linda a few times before, but his first impression of her was negative, so he greeted her rather dryly and gave Kate a meaningful look. I didn't expect that our cultural event would involve another person. Otherwise, I would have bought 3 tickets right away, he said, hinting that Linda was the third wheel. Linda was not bothered by the obvious implication that she was the extra person. She laughed loudly. We can buy tickets from someone else. True, it will cost 3 times as much, but at least the issue will be resolved. She looked around and then pointed her finger at a guy standing nearby. He stood there, looking off into the distance. He had a hood on his head, so his eyes and face were not visible. Bill, that person definitely has tickets. The young man was surprised. Linda, you're even informed about such matters. Yes, it's dangerous to be friends with you. Linda smiled smugly, pleased with the effect she had created. On the contrary, it's very useful to be friends with me. And I know this guy because I've bought clothes from him before. He used to smuggle them in from abroad. Bill, please, hurry up, or Kate and I will turn into icicles soon. The cold is Arctic. Throughout all this, Kate remained silent. She didn't expect her friend to behave so recklessly in the presence of her date. She hadn't noticed such habits in Linda before, like laughing loudly or openly pointing at people. She even regretted not rejecting her friend politely, which now made her feel embarrassed in front of Bill. Somewhere inside, a warning bell went off, cautioning her about the danger. Watch out, or your best friend might steal your boyfriend. But judging by Bill's expression and mood, it was clear that Linda was greatly irritating him. During the movie, Linda also didn't hold back. She openly commented on the actions of the characters and fidgeted in her seat. As a result, Kate didn't really watch the film featuring the famous Italian actor, but Linda was satisfied. I've been dreaming of watching this movie. Thank you, Bill. She looked at him with such eyes that Kate felt uncomfortable. It seemed like Linda had completely forgotten that Bill was dating her best friend. Another minute, and she would just throw herself at him. You're welcome. Bill responded unexpectedly to the lovebirds. Suddenly, Linda blurted out. Guys, I don't understand why you have such faces, as if you just swallowed a spoonful of fish oil. Remember, Kate, how they used to force-feed us with that stuff in kindergarten? Linda laughed loudly again, while Kate only nodded in response to her friend's inappropriate question. She was already planning to say goodbye to Linda since they were standing outside Linda's apartment building, but Linda had no intention of leaving them so easily. Guys, I understand everything, but I'm warning you that I will be the maid of honor at your wedding. No other candidates will be considered. Satisfied with expressing the main thought of the evening, Linda laughed loudly again. Bill frowned, but remained calm as he replied. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Linda, but Kate and I won't be having a wedding. Instantly, the joy on the girl's face turned to surprise. I don't understand. So, Bill, you're also leaving Kate, and you don't even hesitate to admit it publicly like this? The young man skillfully put the audacious girl in her place, and Kate watched with satisfaction as Linda tried to comprehend the meaning of his words. To spare her unnecessary suffering, he explained. Linda, the decision to forego a noisy celebration doesn't mean someone is leaving someone, especially not to speak about a person like that. With Kate, everything will be fine without a grand wedding. We'll just go to the registry office and get married quietly, without anyone knowing. And we'll use the money for something useful. Linda was hit by another wave of surprise. Wow. Just like in movies, they also go on a trip right after the wedding ceremony. Bill, you're amazing. For another 15 minutes, Bill and Kate had to listen to Linda's chatter for the sake of politeness. The cold was starting to seep through their warm clothes, and all three of them began jumping in place to keep warm. Finally, Linda gave up. It turned out to be a great evening. Maybe we can even go to a restaurant together. When Linda disappeared behind the entrance door, the young man sighed with relief. Kate tried to apologize for her friend's behavior. Sorry you had to endure Linda's nonsense. She's a normal girl, just had a moment today. I didn't expect it to turn out so ugly either. Yeah, it's all right. I've dealt with even worse individuals. The only thing I don't understand is what connects you two. You're so different. But there's no mystery. Linda and I went to kindergarten together, then sat at the same desk. She's always so carefree, you know, because her dad is a big shot, so Linda has always been used to getting what she wants. I wish her dad had taught his daughter proper behavior. I barely held back when she started prying about our wedding. I really wanted to snap at that girl. In essence, she ruined everything for me. What do you mean? Kate asked. Bill paused and looked into the girl's eyes. As strange as it may sound, today was the day I planned to propose to you. But your best friend messed up all my plans, so I'll have to settle for the standard question in these cases. Will you marry me? Of course, yes. Half of the procedure done, and now for part 2. Please, maestro, the fanfare. Bill, fooling around, mimicked an orchestra, and then solemnly pulled out a velvet box from his pocket. Here, as is customary in these cases, the ring. The girl opened the box slightly. In the light of a street lamp, a precious stone twinkled brightly, playfully winking at her. Oh, it's a real diamond. It was the happiest day in Kate's life. She couldn't sleep for a long time, replaying every minute of that magical evening in her mind. In this frosty February night, spring echoed in her heart, and she believed that the best was yet to come. The first year of married life flew by unnoticed. Kate couldn't shake off the feeling that all of this was happening in a dream. The women at work teased her. Fluxes of happiness radiate from our Kate. You can get charged up for free. Rarely does one encounter a honeymoon that lasts a whole year. The girl blushed and tried to brush it off with a joke. You're just paying too much attention to me. I never used to walk around with a sour face. I always tried to find something positive even on gloomy days. The only one who didn't contribute to the general mood was Linda. She had another personal failure in her love life, and now she openly envied her friend's happiness in marriage. One day, during their lunch break, which they traditionally spend at a nearby cafe, Linda even made a remark. Kate, you shouldn't showcase your happy life like that. The girl was surprised. On the contrary, I've always thought that happy people radiate kindness. Personally, I'm willing to share with anyone. What, are you going to rent out your own happiness? Linda responded sarcastically. Linda, I didn't expect those words from you. If you weren't my friend, I would definitely be offended by you. Sometimes I get the impression that you're not happy for me or that I owe you something. Kate was on the verge of tears from the hurt, so Linda tried to fix the situation. Oh, why are you getting so down? You know I speak without malice, it's just that I have a loose tongue and blabber nonsense. Don't be upset, Kate. I'm not mad at you and Bill for the cancelled wedding. The tension was lifted, and both girls smiled. Towards the end of their meal, when the dessert plates were empty, Linda asked with a touch of piercing sadness. Kate, what does happiness feel like? Perhaps it's different for each person. You know, recently I came across a collection of poems by a female poet. Well, she survived the war, had love and betrayal in her life. One of her poems struck me. It was about happiness, which this woman collected bit by bit throughout her life. Well, you won't amass much happiness that way, although it sounds beautiful, Linda remarked. Yes, it's beautiful and true. You know, Linda, my grandmother told me many stories about her youth. After all, my grandfather was legless, but she was ready to do anything for him. Sorry, I didn't express myself very well. But according to the stories from my beloved grandmother, a person's worth used to be valued, regardless of their physical flaws. What mattered was what was inside. Linda looked at Kate with wide-open eyes. Well, you're something else, my friend. You shouldn't be sitting in accounting, you should be giving lectures at some humanities university. I'll be leaving accounting soon. Another surprise? Did Bill find you another job? You could say that. We'll be having an addition to the family soon. This news caught Linda off guard. She hadn't mentally prepared herself for it, and a flicker of displeasure crossed her pretty face. But quickly regaining her composure, she feigned excitement and said, Kate. I'm so happy for you, I mean, for both of you, of course. So much happiness in one pair of hands. It can make one go crazy. But if I missed out on your wedding where I wanted to shine as the bridesmaid of honor, at least consider making me the godmother. Kate didn't make any promises and evaded a direct answer with a standard phrase. We still need to give birth first before thinking about everything else. By the way, my grandmother used to say that you shouldn't even buy clothes for an unborn baby. It's a bad omen. I think it's all nonsense, outdated superstitions. As they say, what will be, will be. Personally, when I'm preparing for motherhood, I'll have everything ready in advance for the baby. I envy you right now. I want all of this too. To calm her friend, Kate advised. Everything will come to you, Linda. You just need to change your perspective on life a bit. A crane in the sky looks more attractive because it's high up. And from a distance, imperfections are not noticeable. I get your hint, but according to your version, I definitely won't settle for a sparrow. It's easy for you to talk because your Bill has achieved what others couldn't. He has a good position and a corresponding salary. You have him as your fortress, while a sparrow is utopia. The one who couldn't rise to the sky needs help themselves. And I'm not ready to be someone's crutch. Kate wasn't accustomed to imposing her own views on others. She decided that arguing with her friend about life values would be pointless. After that conversation, their paths started to diverge in different directions. Kate began avoiding joint lunches at the cafe, and Linda didn't insist. In a short time, Linda's friend was promoted to a higher position. Linda decided to celebrate her professional triumph in a grand manner. Girls, to mark this occasion, I'm organizing a gathering. The meeting place is the Sosneet Holiday Resort, outside the city. Please don't be late. After giving the instructions, Linda approached the table where Kate was sitting. I hope you won't distance yourself from the team? But Kate pointed to her belly. With this watermelon, where can I go? If it were here, in place, then I would definitely spend time in warm company, but I won't go out of town. I don't want to take any risks. Well, as you wish. A month before going on maternity leave, Kate started feeling unwell. Her legs were swollen, and unsightly spots appeared on her face. After discussing it with her husband, she decided to take a leave of absence. With her application in hand, she entered the boss's office without knocking. "Linda, I need something." Linda stared at her unfriendly. "First of all, it's not Linda, it's Ms. Linda. Secondly, civilized people knock before entering the boss's office. What's the matter with you?" Although the freshly appointed boss could clearly see that Kate was having trouble standing, she didn't even offer her a chair. On the contrary, she studied the short text, just 2 lines long, for several minutes. "I'm sorry, but I have to refuse your request. The annual report is coming up, as you understand. But it's less than a month before I go on maternity leave." "Well, then you'll go on vacation as expected, in a month." Kate was already at the door when she heard a sarcastic remark. "So, how's your happiness going? Have you gathered many little grains? Don't you want to share?" Kate was struck, not so much by the words, but by the tone with which her friend poured out her malice. The new boss decided to continue. "And now look at yourself and look at me, and tell me who's happier. It's painful to look at you, all spread out like a frog, while I'm in favor, a good position, salary, respect, and once I settle down a bit, I'll find a husband too." Kate almost physically felt the last thread connecting her to her friend snap. Perhaps this rupture had a negative impact on her health because later that same day, she was admitted to the hospital for monitoring. Bill was deeply concerned about his wife's condition and the well-being of their unborn child, but the doctor reassured him. "Everything will be fine. There's no need to worry. Your wife just got a bit nervous, but it will pass. She'll rest with us for a while, and in a couple of weeks, she'll go home." The doctor didn't lie. Indeed, Kate was discharged soon after, and the doctor joked before they parted ways. "We're parting for a short while, gather your strength, and come back to us for the little one." During the remaining time before giving birth, Kate diligently prepared herself for motherhood. She read a lot of helpful literature, but she particularly enjoyed a book by the renowned American pediatrician Benjamin Spock. When Bill caught his wife reading this treatise, he was surprised. "I see you're fully prepared. Can I study the recommendations too? After all, I also want to take an active part." "I'm all for it. Here, take it." Bill took the book, but it was evident that his thoughts were occupied with something else. Kate decided to help him. "Darling, you wanted to ask me something." "Yes, indeed. Listen, the other day, I was at a meeting in the city hall, and I almost lost my speech when I saw your friend there, Linda, I think." "Yes, that's her. But we don't communicate with her anymore." "If it's not a secret, why?" "No secrets. It's just that even a small taste of power can change a person greatly." "I understand. I'll keep that in mind. I almost invited her over to our place. Why didn't you tell me anything?" "Why, Bill? You've probably encountered situations in life where you realized that you're not on the same wavelength with someone. That's how it is with us and Linda. It turned out that our friendship wasn't really a friendship but a soap bubble. But I don't regret at all that we parted ways. Only a trace of bitterness remains. That will fade away, especially since you won't have to return to your accounting job anymore. You've already decided everything for me." "No, but I want to propose that you change your field of work. We're opening several branches soon, and we'll need to expand our staff." "Okay, dear, I'll consider your offer, but let's not speculate too far ahead." Although the whole family was concerned about Kate, Bill found a true friend and like-minded person in the form of Ms. Martha, Kate's grandmother. Grandma Kate reassured the expectant father. "Don't worry yourself so much, everything will be fine. All women give birth, it's our nature. And Kate will handle this task." The man wanted to believe the wise woman's words, but his worry for his wife and child wouldn't let him rest. "Thank you, Ms. Martha, for your support. Your words are like music to the ears of God. And you, dear, don't worry. The heavens hear everything, and the angels are already circling, ready to protect your little one." Kate's father didn't leave the phone. Finally, he shouted with joy backslash. She's given birth. It's a girl, we have a granddaughter. Despite the late hour, the joy-filled relatives hurried to the maternity ward. Even Ms. Martha decided not to lag behind the group. Kate's mother wanted to temper the old woman's enthusiasm. Mom, where are you off to in such a hurry? You should have stayed at home. No way, I've been waiting for this day for so long, I'm not staying home. When the delegation of relatives arrived in the waiting room, the attending nurse looked at the unusual group with surprise. Wait, I'll call the department right away. It didn't take 2 minutes before the nurse returned. Who is the father of the newborn? Bill took a step forward. It's me. Wait a moment, the doctor will come to talk to you. He wants to speak with you. The girl tried not to make eye contact with Bill, who was smiling with happiness. The doctor, too, had a peculiar expression on his face as he invited him into his office. But the doctor's first words plunged the man into shock. It's very difficult for me to say this, but the baby girl was not born completely healthy. She has a severe heart defect, and she currently requires special care. We have everything ready at home. The conditions are excellent. You misunderstood me. The baby cannot breathe on her own, so we will place her in an incubator. It's a special chamber where she will receive oxygen. When she strengthens a little, in about 2 weeks, she will undergo surgery at the perinatal center. Bill didn't fully understand what the doctor was saying. What surgery? What are you talking about? She's so tiny. I'll be honest with you, without surgery, the baby won't survive. Your wife doesn't know anything yet. The delivery was quite difficult, and we haven't told her anything yet. So it's up to you to decide. If it's about saving her life, then, of course, I agree. But how could this happen? Why? No one will answer that question for you. Right now, the most important thing is to determine a treatment strategy. Don't lose hope, even though the defect is severe, not all is lost. But it will require multiple surgeries. So gather courage and patience. Ultimately, the future of the little one depends on you and your wife. Bill left the doctor's office and collapsed onto a couch, completely drained of strength. Kate's parents and grandmother looked at the grieving father with fear. Bill, my dear, tell us what happened. Ms. Martha held onto the man's arm. Kate's parents also stood with pale faces. What's wrong with Kate? Bill, don't stay silent. No. It's the baby. A girl was born. With a defect. Lowering his head, the man headed towards the exit. Ms. Martha tried to catch up with him. You can't despair like this. Nowadays, they treat such illnesses, and they will cure my great-granddaughter. Bill stopped and looked at the elderly woman with a forced smile. I envy your optimism, Ms. Martha, but I'm starting to lose faith in angels and heavenly powers. And you're wrong. You must believe. Faith gives strength. In the beginning, Bill tried to follow his wife's grandmother's advice. He helped his wife in every way, taking on the heaviest burdens. After the first surgery, which was performed on little Vivian when she was just a month and a half old, the girl quickly improved. Like a healthy toddler, she was running around and joyfully creating chaos in the apartment by her first birthday. But it's known that trouble comes from where no one expects it. The young parents celebrated every success of their daughter and tried to diversify her leisure time. They didn't refuse an invitation from a colleague at work whose daughter was a few months older than Vivian. Bill, come with the whole family. Our Pamela is only 2 years old, and we want to celebrate in a fun way. The celebration was a great success, and the happy Kate and Bill watched as their daughter played enthusiastically with the other children. The consequences of the event manifested themselves 2 days later. The girl started to suffocate, and the thermometer constantly showed 39 degrees. For 2 weeks, the child fought for her life in the intensive care unit, but a simple cold left severe consequences. Vivian never fully recovered, and she needed oxygen every half an hour. For the young family, dark days have come. Most of their budget was spent on necessary medications and visits to top-notch clinics. While relatives helped as much as they could, it was clear that there was not enough money. And then, they managed to get a consultation with a renowned professor who said, "The situation is serious. The little girl has a heart like that of an elderly woman. It can't handle even minimal stress." Kate pleaded. "What are we supposed to do? Please help save our daughter." The professor philosophically remarked, "Sometimes, medicine is powerless. You have a unique case, but tears and pleas won't help here. The only correct solution, in my opinion, would be a repeat operation to install an artificial valve. However, even then, it would only be a temporary measure, as she will eventually need the assistance of transplant specialists." Bill grew wary and asked, "Professor, are you saying that?" "Yes, you understood me correctly. Your daughter will need a donor heart. But I want to warn you up front that the waiting list spans years. They say that shared grief brings people together, but for Kate and Bill, everything turned out contrary to this law." 6 months after the consultation with the renowned professor, Vivian underwent a second operation, but it yielded little positive result. The girl could barely exist without the apparatus through which she breathed. Consequently, Kate couldn't even take her outside for a walk. For the mother and her sick daughter, the world now shrank to the dimensions of their 2-bedroom apartment with a balcony, while a completely different life buzzed outside. Despite her serious illness, Vivian did not despair. She received homeschooling and eagerly awaited the arrival of her teachers. Another passion of the girl was drawing. At not even 8 years old, she accurately depicted all the shades and details of the subjects. She happily showed her works to anyone interested. One day, the teacher who came to their home every day said, "Your daughter has talent. If you don't mind, I'll show her drawings to an artist I know. He teaches at the Academy of Fine Arts." At first, Kate didn't pay much attention to the young teacher's words, but she eventually handed over a few of her daughter's works. Soon, she forgot about it as the burden of daily worries weighed increasingly heavily on her. One day, she confessed to her mother, who visited them every day. "I feel like a snail in its shell. I can imagine how my dear grandmother would scold me for saying such things. It's a shame she's not here. I miss her so much too. Mom was a great optimist. I only saw her cry once, when father passed away. Otherwise, she was always smiling and resilient. Mom, I really want to be like Grandma, but I can't, especially lately. I constantly feel down, but I hold on for Vivian's sake." "And what about Bill? After all, he has always been supportive of you. Has something changed?" Kate didn't want to burden her mother with her problems, but she felt a strong need to share with someone. "I don't know, maybe it's all in my troubled imagination, but Bill has changed a lot, especially in the past year. He's become irritable, even rude to me, and he avoids entering Vivian's room altogether. You should talk to him." "I've tried, but he avoids direct conversation. I have the impression that he's afraid. Afraid of me, Vivian, and everything in this house. You know, Mom, my husband started coming home closer to midnight, so I started thinking that he found another woman. If he abandons us, I can't even imagine how we'll live. Don't even think about it. Thank God, you're not alone. Your father and I will always support you. And Bill is a very responsible person. I'm convinced he won't stoop to such treachery." "Oh, Mom, I'm not so sure about that. He's become completely different." Suddenly, Kate remembered the teacher who highly appreciated Vivian's talent. "I've exhausted you, but there's some good news too." Vivian's teacher took a few drawings to show an artist. "Of course, I don't believe in all the Cinderella tales, but who knows?" Ms. Miranda said thoughtfully. "And I've told you 100 times that my granddaughter is a gem. How can such a sick child draw like that? You should hire a tutor or art teacher for her." "Mom, I would gladly do it, but where would the money come from? We're barely making ends meet as it is, and the medications are so expensive. And we only have one breadwinner, who is always in a bad mood. We're not asking anything from you. I don't think such lessons would cost much. Your father and I will help." Who knows, maybe our little Vivian will become a famous artist. By the way, where is she? Kate nodded towards the balcony. She's out there, having an outdoor painting session, although you can hardly call the small oasis of greenery under our balcony nature a dot. The girl enthusiastically painted, her tongue sticking out. The mask of the device didn't hinder her creative process. The young artist skillfully adjusted it each time she changed her body position. Ms. Miranda leaned in to examine her granddaughter's work. Well done, my dear. Grandma, I didn't even notice you coming. The mask betrayedly slipped off her face, and the girl began to gasp for air. Ms. Miranda quickly readjusted the device. You mustn't make sudden movements, and you shouldn't even get too excited. Grandma. Don't worry about me, I'm already used to it. A lady came to us and said that I'll soon receive a device like this so I can go outside with it. Kate confirmed from a distance. It completely slipped my mind. One foundation, with such a funny name, Sunshine, took responsibility for Vivian. They promised to help with purchasing a new device, but how long to wait until they raise enough funds? Still, thank you for visiting and bringing gifts. Vivian interrupted her mother discontentedly. Mom, you talked to Grandma for almost an hour, now it's my turn. Kate yielded to her daughter. All right, my dear, I'll be quiet and won't disturb you. I'll go to the kitchen and prepare something delicious. Taking advantage of her mother's absence, Vivian beckoned her grandmother. I need to show you something. Mom and Dad will soon celebrate their anniversary, the day they got married. Ms. Miranda asked in surprise, how do you know? Grandma, do you think I'm too little? Sometimes I even walk around the apartment without that annoying thing. The girl nodded towards the mask. Don't think that if someone has a weak heart, their mind doesn't work. I understand everything perfectly. And what do you understand? I understand that Mom and Dad don't seem to argue, but they don't rejoice like they used to. And I want them to be happy again, and for all of us to go to the park together. And you remember that? Of course I do. That's why I paint my pictures, so I can earn a lot of money. I'm going to sell them. Ms. Miranda was amazed by the pragmatism of the sick girl. Who convinced you of that? Grandma, come on. I saw on TV how a boy without hands held a brush with his lips and painted. I have hands and legs, and they'll sew a new heart for me later, the professor said. Oh, you totally distracted me. I wanted to show you the painting I'll give to Mom and Dad. The girl rummaged through a folder of drawings and pulled out a colorful picture of 3 smiling figures. It was easy to recognize Vivian and her parents. The girl mechanically adjusted her mask and asked with undisguised pleasure. Isn't it great? It's simply wonderful. You're such a clever girl. Tears welled up in Ms. Miranda's eyes, and to avoid upsetting her granddaughter, she left the balcony. I'll go to your mother to help, and you keep drawing. The drawing with its positive story remained on the balcony. It seems the young artist forgot to hide it in her folder. In the evening, Bill, as usual, arrived when his wife and daughter were already asleep. He decided to go out to the balcony to get some fresh air and noticed his daughter's drawing. What's this? It's a gift Vivian wanted to give us for our wedding anniversary. She forgot to put away her drawing while talking to Grandma. Bill didn't notice his wife approaching. Despite her weak heart, our Vivian draws and tries to live like a normal child. And she succeeds. It's a shame you don't notice that. Kate retreated to the bedroom, and Bill spent a long time under the moonlight, examining the drawing filled with a special meaning. Kate didn't hear any words from her husband. She hoped that something would awaken in him, something that would make him return to the Bill she knew. But he went to bed in silence and left for work without a word in the morning. Kate knew from his phone conversations that her husband was preparing for a promotion, and she justified his constant delays with that. The fact that he was being promoted did make Kate happy. It meant an increase in salary, and perhaps they would be able to buy something more expensive for Vivian that would help her better than domestic medicine. But the next day, something happened that made Kate forget about her concerns. Closer to noon, someone rang the doorbell insistently, so much so that even Vivian looked up from her drawing. Kate wiped her hands and went to open the door. Strange, who could it be? Standing at the threshold was the same teacher who admired Vivian's drawings and even took some to show someone. With her was a man in his 60s or 70s. "Hello, Ms. Kate. I apologize for coming without notice. Please meet the artist and art teacher from the Academy of Arts, Mr. Henry." Kate felt like she had heard this name before, maybe on television. This man had received some kind of award. "Hello. Please come in." The man immediately sat down next to Vivian. They were talking about something, and his eyebrows kept raising. Then he asked, "Vivian, do you have your favorite drawings?" The girl smiled. "Of course, I even keep them in a separate folder." The girl looked at Kate, and she quickly took out the folder with the drawings. "Perhaps some tea?" Mr. Henry smiled. "You know, I wouldn't mind." Half an hour later, they sat down at the set table. Vivian sat on the kitchen sofa, eagerly catching every word of the artist. "You see, Ms. Kate. Your daughter has talent, and I think you understand that yourself. Talent is a rare thing nowadays, so to find it, one must make a serious effort. I have a son. He's a businessman, and he helps children and me. From time to time, he organizes children's exhibitions. I believe your daughter's works are worthy of such an exhibition, worthy of recognition." Kate listened and couldn't believe her ears. She thought her daughter simply drew well. It wasn't such a big talent. It turns out she didn't even know. And besides, Vivian, well, she's not entirely healthy. That's not an obstacle for her to be recognized. Besides, it will work in your favor. The more people learn about Vivian, the higher the chances that someone can help her. And also, I would like to provide Vivian with a personal art teacher. You can decide when it would be convenient for you to have someone else in the house. The first solo exhibition of the young artist took place at the Children's Creativity Center on Family Day. Vivian welcomed this joyful event with enthusiasm because a few days before, she received a new device as a gift. Therefore, the drawing master could attend the presentation herself. Kate tried to hide from her daughter how bad she felt. As soon as they found out that the exhibition was confirmed and they were given the date and time, Kate tried to tell her husband about it. However, on the very first day, it didn't work out. He came home after midnight. So Kate woke up earlier to prepare breakfast for Bill ahead of time. And during breakfast, she planned to tell him everything. He entered the kitchen, looked surprised at the stack of pancakes, sizzling scrambled eggs, then glanced at Kate, sighed almost imperceptibly, and sat down at the table. "Bill, coffee or tea?" "Coffee." She placed a cup in front of him. "Bill, I need to talk to you." "Kate, not now. My head is filled with thoughts, and I want to have breakfast peacefully, to concentrate." She could see that her husband was struggling, but she wasn't going to back down. "Okay. When, then?" "You're never here. I need to talk. We need to resolve some issues, after all, you're my husband." Kate moved away to the window and turned away from him, while Bill, for the first time in a long time, looked at her attentively. Jeans. She had these jeans even before her pregnancy. They were so worn out that they seemed intentionally distressed. Some shapeless t-shirt. Kate looked very slim in it, although she seemed to have actually lost a lot of weight. Her hair was in a bun. He always hated that bun, but she used to laugh and reply, "Do you expect me to sweep the dust with my hair?" Yes, Kate has changed a lot. If it's so visible on a young woman, what can we say about him? His pants are also almost a year old. Of course, he has others, but he hasn't been buying what he wants for a long time. Actually, he doesn't buy anything at all. He doesn't do anything he wants. He only works and brings home money. Sometimes he has this feeling that he comes home after payday, throws all the money into a big cauldron burning with infernal flames, and immediately realizes that he can turn around and go back to work because there is no money left. Lately, Bill has realized that he's tired of all of this. He doesn't want to live like this anymore. Yes, Kate loves him, and Vivian is not to blame for anything, but he's also a human being. He hasn't done anything wrong before God. He shouldn't bear all of this. He's not yet 40, but he feels as if he's well over 60. In other words, the life he hasn't really lived is over, and there's nothing ahead for him. In other words, it's the same thing as now. Kate turned around, and Bill saw determination in her eyes. Kate, don't start. We'll talk. We'll talk about everything. Give me a few days to gather my thoughts. She unexpectedly agreed. Okay, let's do it on Friday. We can't postpone it any longer because we have something on Sunday. She wanted to say exhibition, but Bill had already left. Kate smiled sadly. For over a year, he hasn't kissed her when he comes home or when he leaves. At first, she cried and felt hurt, but then she accepted it. On Friday, she and her mother bought a beautiful dress for Vivian. After all, it was her first significant event in her life. Bill didn't come home on Friday. He only showed up on Saturday, but it was already nighttime, and they couldn't wake him up in the morning to go to the exhibition. Kate distinctly smelled alcohol. It was so strange because Bill didn't like drinking at all. In any case, they were already running late, so they left him to sleep and went to the exhibition. Ms. Miranda, however, grumbled. What kind of father is that? He doesn't even go to such an important event for his child. Mom, I didn't even get a chance to tell him about this event because Bill is never home. Ms. Miranda choked with indignation, but it's all right, she'll talk to Bill later. Kate may have fallen out of love, but what does the child have to do with it? The exhibition was a real success. So many words were said about Vivian that the girl got nervous and even had to take medicine, but Grandma and Mom anticipated it, so there were no consequences. And then, at the very end of the celebration, Mr. Henry introduced a man to them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my son, Mr. William. He's the organizer of this event. Kate couldn't help but smile. Mr. Henry spoke about his son with poorly concealed pride. Good evening. I'm very glad that my father didn't make a mistake again. Creative people catch fire quickly, but today I'm also amazed. Although my dad says I can't feel things like artists do. Kate had a chance to observe the man while they engaged in a fairly social dialogue. About 40 years old, maybe a little older. Very impressive, strict, but only until he started to smile. His smile was mischievous, boyish. And in that moment, it was clear that he wasn't 40 and couldn't be. Actually, I approached you for two reasons, or rather, for two matters. The first one is about Kate. Several people would like to buy your daughter's drawings, and since she's a minor, the decision is up to you. Our person will help with the price. He deals with auctions and sales. And the second matter. I would like to invite all of you to a restaurant to celebrate this success, but apparently, it won't work out. He looked at Vivian with pity, who was terribly tired, pale, and pensive. Yes, unfortunately, it won't work out. Vivian needs rest for a long time now. But Ms. Miranda intervened. Kate, I believe such an event should be celebrated no matter what. Even if not on this day, you could invite Mr. William and Mr. Henry to visit. She turned to the men, you just can't imagine how well she cooks. I always told her she should work in a restaurant instead of a boring accounting job. Kate modestly smiled. She felt awkward about her mother's words, but now she needed to say something. All right, let's do it on Tuesday. It's a free day, Vivian doesn't have any activities. Mr. Henry smiled contentedly. Oh, how delighted I am. If only people knew, I can't stand those restaurants. They've been a thorn in my side my whole life. And I constantly mix up the forks. Kate felt relieved by his confession. Just a second before his words, she had been frantically thinking about how to handle everything and prepare without embarrassing herself. And now she realized that even great people can be ordinary. They agreed on the time. Mr. William offered to drive them. Ms. Miranda immediately said she had somewhere else to go, so Kate and Vivian had to go alone. They mainly talked about the exhibition. When they arrived at Mr. Williams' house, he smiled. "So, we'll see each other the day after tomorrow." "It seems so." "Wonderful. By then, I believe we'll have sorted out the buyers as well." They bid each other a warm farewell. Vivian could barely move her legs and yawned desperately. Kate immediately put her to bed. She heard Bill splashing in the bathroom. "That's great. Now they could talk." Well, he couldn't be so insensitive as to not be happy about their daughter's success. About 20 minutes later, the bathroom door opened, and Bill appeared in the kitchen. "Oh, you're home." He didn't even ask where they had been, as if a child with an oxygen mask on their face was constantly walking freely. "Yes, we're home. It's good that you're home too, because lately, we only know from memory that I have a husband and Vivian has a dad." He turned sharply towards her. "I don't understand. Are you dissatisfied with something? I work like a slave, and I can't even afford anything. All the money goes down the drain. Maybe you've forgotten that there's another life, a life that normal people live. They go to the movies, buy expensive things. Their homes don't smell like medicine. They work to live with pleasure. My life is so strange. I'm 30 and feeling lost. I'm young, I want to live." Kate stood silently, horror-stricken, as she looked at her husband. No, it couldn't be him saying these things. Because her Bill couldn't say that. She knew him well. He always cared about them. He loves them. "Bill, I don't understand what you're saying. Vivian is our daughter. We brought her into this world just as she is." He turned sharply towards her. "No, not us, but you. You gave birth to a sick child. You suffer, you make the child suffer, and now you've decided that I don't need my life either? Although I'm wrong. In this whole situation, you're the one benefiting. Vivian is sick, I work tirelessly without seeing the light, without seeing any money, day and night. And you're just there with her. You don't work, you spend my money, and occasionally you give our daughter medicine." "Bill, what are you saying?" Kate took a few steps and literally collapsed onto a chair. "What am I saying? The truth. I don't understand why I should suffer. Essentially, this is not life, it's just existence. And I'm tired, whether you understand it or not." Surprisingly calm, Kate spoke up. "And what do you propose we change? What should we do to find a way out of this situation? You must understand that we can't change anything at the moment." "Right, but I can. Why should everyone suffer if at least one person can live normally?" Kate shook her head, trying to comprehend her husband's words. "Bill, I don't understand you." He sat down next to the table. "Kate, I'm leaving. I don't care what you'll think of me, but I don't want to live like this anymore." Kate felt the ground shift beneath her feet. "You're leaving? But it's death for Vivian. You know yourself that the medications they provide her barely work. We have to buy everything ourselves. How will we manage without you?" "Kate, don't try to make me feel sorry for you. I'm not trying to. I want to understand if you're consciously going through with this, fully aware of what your departure means for our daughter." Bill silently stood up and walked into the hallway, with Kate following him. Tears streamed down her face. "Bill, please, reconsider. Think about what will happen to us." But he put on his jacket, turned to her. "When you calm down, gather my things, and don't try to reach out to me. Nothing will change anyway." He closed the door behind him, and Kate quietly slid down the wall. "What do we do now? How do we go on living?" About 10 minutes later, she heard her daughter calling for her. Kate rushed to her. Vivian looked pale, but Kate didn't notice anything alarming. "Mommy, can I draw, please?" Kate smiled. "You're always drawing. Aren't you tired?" "No, Mommy. How can you say that? I love it so much, and it even makes me feel better." Kate held herself back as best she could, not letting her daughter sense anything. She didn't need to worry her. In the evening, when Vivian was already asleep, Kate sat in the kitchen to assess what medications they had and what they would soon have to buy. Then she counted the money. Well, they could make it through a couple of months if nothing increased in price, but what then? She understood clearly that if she didn't come up with something in these 2 months, everything would come to an end. Only the next day did she remember they had guests. She had to allocate a bit more from the budget. It was all for Vivian. Kate went through the motions. She mechanically smiled at her daughter, she cooked, she talked to her, but in her mind, there was one constant thought: what should she do? The guests arrived on time. Kate's mother called and said her father was sick, and to avoid risking Vivian's health, she wouldn't come. As if we needed someone else falling ill. Forgive me, my dear, but handle it yourself somehow. Okay, Mom, I'll manage. Mr. Henry and his son arrived right on time. Kate smiled and invited them into the room. Mr. Henry immediately complained. What smells? Tell me, how can you exchange these smells for restaurant aromas? Mr. Williams smiled. My dad has always been a proponent of home-cooked meals and family celebrations at home. Mom never managed to get him accustomed to social events. Why didn't you bring Mom with you? Kate looked at William. She passed away 10 years ago. Dad barely recovered, he loved her very much. Mom was an opera singer and sang until her last breath. She had a romantic nature and loved glamour, luxury. He fell silent for a moment. And Dad. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Kate was so upset. Who prompted her to say that? It's okay, we're doing better now. Mr. Henry's voice echoed from the room. He was talking to Vivian. Kate gestured towards the room. Please, come in. When they entered, Mr. Henry stood near Vivian's table, examining something and furrowing his brows. He quickly glanced at Kate and then said, William, come here. Now both men were looking at the drawing, both silent. Kate smiled. What did you see there? You know. Kate wanted to see too, but Vivian stopped her. Mom, it's not finished yet. Vivian quickly hid the drawing. Kate was certainly surprised, but didn't argue. She would ask her daughter later when it became unacceptable to look at unfinished drawings. As they sat at the table, listening to Mr. Henry loudly admire each dish, Kate felt somewhat relaxed. Mr. William pushed his plate aside. Well, now we can talk about business. Kate, here's a card. The proceeds from the sale of Vivian's drawings and paintings will be deposited there. There's already some money in it. I would like to have your permission to take a few of them to Italy. There's an annual exhibition of young talents there in a week. The prize is quite impressive, but participation requires your written consent and a small photo session with Vivian. Kate shrugged. Of course, why not? Mr. Henry asked. Kate, tell me, how are you getting by? Does any foundation help you, or perhaps you've established your own? We were recently taken under the wing of the Sunshine Foundation. They bought us a portable device. We couldn't afford it ourselves. Sorry for the intrusive question, but what about medications? We all understand that only scraps are allocated. My husband used to earn well, although his salary was barely enough. I'm sorry, why used to? Did he lose his job? Kate sadly smiled, only now realizing that she was left completely alone with her problems. No, he left us just yesterday, saying he couldn't spend his whole life working for me and a sick child. William choked on his tea, and Mr. Henry clenched his fists. So that's how it is. Don't worry, Kate. Everything that happens in life is for the best. She weakly smiled. Bill reached the park and sat on a bench. It hadn't been half an hour when a woman approached him and sat down next to him. Well, did you talk? Yes. How did it go? What do you think? Linda affectionately placed her hand on his shoulder. Bill, relax. All the bad is behind us. Ahead, there's only positivity. In a month, you and I will go to the seaside. It will be a great reward for your struggles. You'll come back with renewed strength, resume work, and surely get a promotion. You understand yourself that you were living without oxygen. I understand, Linda. Let's agree not to mention them anymore. Of course, as you wish. So, shall we go home? I ordered dinner from a restaurant, and I also bought a wonderful wine. I took the day off tomorrow, so we have the whole night. Bill smiled. He would try to get rid of everything that prevented him from living well. This was the kind of life he dreamed of, or rather, started to dream of when he began to get closer to Linda. Everything happened suddenly. He hadn't even considered betraying Kate, especially with Linda, whom he didn't particularly like from the very first day of their acquaintance. Honestly, he hadn't seen her in a long time. Probably since the time when Kate was still pregnant. He hadn't seen her, nor had he ever been interested. What difference did it make how his wife's former friend was living? That day his car wouldn't start again, and, of course, not at home but at work. It was the kind of time when public transportation wasn't running, and taking a taxi was very expensive, almost to the other end of the city. He decided to walk a few stops closer to the center, where minibuses ran reliably. He was very thirsty. Spotting a small shop ahead, Bill turned there to buy some water. As he approached the door, some lady almost knocked him off his feet. "Hey, watch it." "Sorry." And then the lady suddenly said, "Bill, is that you?" He looked up in surprise. Before him stood Linda, well-groomed, made up, and exuding the scent of expensive perfume. "Linda? You recognized me. What are you doing here at this hour?" "My car broke down, and I'm walking to the center." "Well, I came by car. You see, my BMW is parked here." He turned around and saw a pretty fresh-looking bright blue BMW. "Nice ride." Linda laughed. "That's not what I meant. I meant that I can give you a ride. Come on, buy what you need and come out. I'll wait by the car." Bill went to the counter. He had a mixed feeling. He didn't really want to see Linda, but on the other hand, she was so beautiful, fashionable, and free-spirited. It was like a breath of fresh air. He settled into the car's interior, which smelled of leather, expensive perfume, and something else, something forgotten, precious. Linda smiled. "Do you like it?" "Of course." She laughed. "You talk as if you're living in poverty. As I remember, you had a pretty good job." "Well, the job hasn't gone anywhere. But everything else, yes, it's true. Our daughter Vivian is sick. All the money, absolutely all of it, goes towards her treatment. Kate doesn't work, so it's all from my salary. We can't spend on anything extra. If you knew how tired I am of all this." He said it and was startled by his own words. He had never allowed himself to say such things before. Linda looked thoughtfully at him. "Yes. Listen, let's have a drink, relieve some stress. I just finished all the reports at work. Even though I'm the boss, I'm exhausted like a dog." Bill wasn't a big fan of drinking, but he really didn't want to go home. The thought was just dreadful. And he said, "Sure, let's do it. Then come to my place. I have everything you could wish for in my bar." To be honest, the man didn't expect such a turn of events. He thought they would sit somewhere on neutral ground. And now, to her place? He wasn't a little boy, and he knew very well how such gatherings usually ended. Suddenly, a wave of heat washed over him. He pictured Linda on satin sheets with a glass of champagne in her hand. In a hoarse voice, he replied, "Let's go to your place." That evening, or rather, night, turned Bill's world upside down. Linda subtly made him understand that his self-sacrifice was simply foolishness. "Well, think for yourself. What's your fault in all this? You don't have any genetic disorders, there are no people in your family with this illness. Why should you suffer for the rest of your life now? Doesn't it seem unfair to you? You earn a living, you could live quite comfortably. But, sorry, it's not my business. Let's have a drink instead." They drank, then drank some more, and then Linda played beautiful music and invited him to dance. He hadn't danced in so long. He hadn't been in such a romantic atmosphere for ages. He left Linda's place at dawn. He told himself that it wouldn't happen again. He entered his home quietly and immediately noticed the faint smell of medicine. Everything was so gray and gloomy. He walked into the kitchen, opened the refrigerator. Everything was so ordinary, and he couldn't just eat something delicious because there was simply no impractical food. Everything was very strictly budgeted. Linda called him a week later. He didn't even know how she got his number, but he was happy. "Bill, hi. I don't know how you'll take my offer, but it's my birthday tomorrow. It's not a significant date, so no big celebrations. I was thinking, who would I enjoy spending time with, and you know what, I decided it's only you. I don't want to see anyone else at my place anymore." Was he pleased? Of course, he was. He had long forgotten that Linda was unpleasant, that she radiated malice and envy. And in general, what was Linda like now, and what was his Kate like? They were like night and day. And even if Bill fell to pieces, nothing would change. Not at all. "Linda, I'd be happy to." "Bill, if you're thinking about a gift, please don't even bother. I understand everything, and, overall, I think we need to find a way out of this situation. There must be a way. They always say that there's no way out of only one situation. And this isn't that situation for you. But that's enough, I'll be waiting for you tomorrow. What time is convenient for you? Can you leave an hour early, say, to be at my place by 6 o'clock? I can do it." Bill closed his eyes. What was he doing? Then he asked decisively. "Linda, tell me, what kind of flowers do you like?" She laughed. "I love roses, like all women do." Bill almost blurted out that his Kate only adores chrysanthemums. "All right then, see you tomorrow." Since that birthday, something clicked in Bill's mind. He didn't want to go home, he didn't want to live like that anymore. He wanted to live well, the way a professional of his caliber deserved. It took him a long time to come to this decision, even though Linda was urging him to move in almost immediately. Maybe he would still have doubts, but then Kate started bothering him with her talks. How everything had become so dull. And when she confronted him, he didn't bother to have that unpleasant conversation again. What's the point of enduring it? He expressed everything that was on his mind. He nearly ruined that painting, the one he had found on the balcony once, and something stirred inside him. He wanted to cry. He went to bed with a heavy heart. By morning, he decided that he needed to end things with Linda. But she sent him a list of discounted travel packages in the morning. He hadn't been to the seaside in ages. It was so tempting. He got his vacation approved at work without any problems. "Bill, of course, go. Don't we understand? You haven't been on vacation for about 5 years. Don't worry, we'll support your department. So, when you come back, everything will be tip-top. How are things with your family?" His boss looked at him sympathetically. What could he say? That he left them? Well, of course, he couldn't. He shrugged. "Nothing new. All right, go. I won't hold you back. Rest and recharge. You know that after your vacation, you'll have a completely different position. It's even good that you're on vacation. You'll come back with renewed energy and start fresh." He recounted the conversation to Linda, leaving out the part about his family. Linda rubbed her hands together with satisfaction. "See, life is getting better. First, we'll need to buy you a decent car. Your old wreck has been begging to be sent to the scrapyard. Then we can expand our living space." Bill lay on the couch and believed that everything would turn out exactly like that. And how could it be otherwise? Now he was a free man. The seaside vacation turned out to be unforgettable. Bill didn't even feel the desire to call and find out how Vivian or Kate were doing. And Linda didn't leave him a single free minute. She dragged him on excursions, back to the hotel room, or to the beach. He got a tan and looked better. Linda would lie next to him in the evenings and say, "You're amazing, you're so handsome and strong. You're the best." And he believed that it was all true. He went to work with pleasure. Firstly, he had a decent rest, and secondly, he knew that he would soon become not just a department head, but the head of an entire division. That was something completely different. They would even assign him a car, a good one, not just any car. All the cars at his company were top-notch. After greeting the security guard, he headed straight to the boss's office to hand over souvenirs from the seaside. "Good morning, Mr. James." The boss slowly turned away from the window. "Hello, Mr. Bill. Did you have a good rest?" "Very good. Here, I brought you a souvenir." The boss looked at Bill in a strange way. It made him uncomfortable under that gaze. "Did you bring something for your daughter too?" Bill stopped smiling. Well, what did he expect? Sooner or later, everyone had to find out everything, and he mentally prepared himself for it. What does my daughter have to do with this? Why is she even mentioned? Oh, Bill, I've been working with people for so many years, and I never would have thought that you, of all people, were capable of something like this. Bill scoffed. Well, you can't judge anything since you know nothing. Sorry, I have to go to work. The boss watched him attentively and shook his head. It clearly hadn't gone unnoticed that there was some woman involved. He had spoken to Kate several times, and he liked her. She was a beautiful, calm woman with a strong spirit. Bill was furious. Who gave them the right to interfere in his personal life? Who? What did they really know about his life? He slumped into his chair. There was only a glass partition separating him, as the department head, from the other employees. Several times he was distracted from his paperwork and realized that his colleagues were looking at him and clearly talking about him, so everyone here was aware as well. But the most unpleasant part of that day wasn't the sideways glances or the conversation with his boss. When he entered the cafe on the ground floor to grab lunch, people cleared a path for him to the cash register. He scoffed. Well, look at that respect. They know I'll be the boss soon. He placed all his chosen items on the tray, paid, and headed towards his favorite table by the window. There were two women sitting on one side, seemingly from a neighboring department. "Enjoy your meal," he said as he placed the tray down and sat down. The women silently took their trays and moved to another table. Bill filled with anger. The first thing he would do when he became the boss would be to fire those two hens who stick their noses where they don't belong. But a week later, something happened that Bill certainly didn't expect. An all-staff meeting was announced throughout the entire office. That day, Bill arrived dressed in a suit and a white shirt. He knew perfectly well that he would be appointed to a new position today. Linda thoroughly inspected him at home and was pleased. "You look great. I really like it," she said. After lunch, everyone made their way to the hall. Bill followed suit and sat in the front row where other department heads were seated. It was the last time he would be sitting there. From now on, he would always be at the table on stage. His boss, Mr. James, sat down next to him. He silently listened to everything being said on stage, and then Bill heard something that made him jump, but he quickly composed himself and sat back down. They appointed some woman as the head, the industry leader. In an instant, he briskly headed towards the exit. An hour later, when everyone returned, including Mr. James, Bill went straight to his office. "Can you explain to me what just happened?" "You said I would be the boss," Bill asked his boss. Mr. James looked at him and calmly replied. "We discussed it and decided that such a significant position cannot be led by someone without principles, someone who betrays others." "Oh my God, what nonsense are you talking? Thousands of people get divorced, thousands abandon their families." "Perhaps. But in this situation..." "Yeah, what do you know about the situation? Have you lived in such hell?" "No, you haven't. It's not your place to judge." The boss took off his glasses and rubbed his nose. "How do you know about the hell of others?" I have a son with cerebral palsy, and his mother, just like you, wanted an easy life without problems. But we manage just fine. According to your logic, should I have immediately put him in an institution? In that case, maybe it's better for me to resign. He already regretted his words. What if Mr. James says yes? What would he do then? You know, that's not a bad idea. In any case, you won't get any support from me anymore. Linda was late from work that evening. Bill didn't even know why he was so worried. Well, he quit, so what? As a specialist like him, he would always find a job. He would find one tomorrow, right away. Linda showed up after midnight with a faint scent of champagne. Oh, aren't you sleeping? Where have you been? Linda looked at him in surprise. What's with the tone? It's a normal tone. I'm just curious where my woman was. It's almost morning, after all. Well, firstly, I'm not your woman. Serfdom was abolished long ago. And secondly, what kind of snobbery is this? I'm not going to report to you for every step I take. We're adults. We have friends, girlfriends. Bill realized it was time to calm down. Well, you could have called, couldn't you? I could have, but I forgot. Bill gritted his teeth. She forgot. He called 100 times. At first, she ignored him, and then she simply turned off her phone. I have news. Linda raised her hands. Bill, it can wait until tomorrow. I'm extremely tired. He silently followed her into the bedroom, but Linda collapsed in such a way that there was no room left for him on the bed. He had to return to the living room and settle on the small couch. He didn't sleep for a long time, lying there, staring at the ceiling, thinking. He got a job, though they didn't offer a decent salary. Linda was extremely dissatisfied. We should deprive Kate of her parental rights so she won't run around and complain. Why do you think it's her? Who else could it be? Yes, even if it's not her, it's still because of her influence. I told you, they just poison your life. By the way, did you file for divorce? I found such a lovely wedding dress. About 3 years later, Linda was fired for a significant shortage. They pinned all the debt on her, and Bill suddenly realized that he had returned to where he had run away from. Only this time, there was a child there, and here was Linda. The money was disappearing into the abyss just the same. Linda was paying off the debt to avoid going to jail. Bill was working. Linda couldn't because she refused to settle for anything less than a director's position, and director positions get filled very quickly. One evening, while returning home, Bill turned onto a familiar street, parked under the windows, stood there, gazing at the illuminated squares. He felt such disgust and a tightness in his soul. He wanted to go upstairs, admit what a fool he had been and ask for forgiveness. He wanted to see his daughter's drawings. Bill, is that you? He jerked. An old lady, their neighbor from the first floor, was standing next to the car. Hello? Yes, it's me. Long time no see. But standing here is pointless. Your family has left. They sold the apartment and left. Somewhere far away, very far, you need to take a plane. It's a different country. How could they leave? Linda can't do that. Well, nobody told me that. They left for good, to live, it seems. Oh, I remember now. Italy. He didn't understand anything. It didn't seem like the old lady was mistaken. She always had a sharp mind. But if it's true, then it's some kind of nonsense. Doctors said that any flight could be Vivian's last. The chances were too high that her heart valve wouldn't hold. Kate couldn't willingly go along with it, unless she also decided to make her life easier. But no, Kate was definitely not capable of that. He pulled out of the yard, thinking that he could call Kate's mother, but then he decided it would be better not to. Now he could finally live in peace. But life wasn't coming together. Everything seemed to go wrong. Linda got a job as an accountant in some housing maintenance office, earning pennies. The company where Bill worked was bought out, and they hired young employees. He was given the option to stay on part-time or quit. Now he was scraping by with odd jobs and driving a taxi. The car was his only asset. Back when he was still doing well, he and Linda managed to buy a car. They quickly sold it as soon as a large debt was placed on Linda. Today he came home after another day of labor, wanting to have a beer and sleep, but Linda had other plans for him. "What's this? You planning to laze around? What's wrong with that?" "I'm tired, you know. Don't you watch the news? Today, there's an exhibition by some foreign artist in our city. She came here from abroad. They say she's very talented, but that's not the point. Today, the ladies were talking about how the city is flooded with foreigners. Can you imagine how much money taxi drivers will make these days?" Bill looked longingly at the 2 bottles of beer. "Maybe tomorrow? Today, it's supposed to be a celebration for us." "Celebration? What kind of celebration?" "Well, it's been 10 years since I and you together. But I wouldn't call it a celebration. Your arrival brought me nothing but failures." He began to get irritated. "Failures, huh? And what about the fact that you broke up my family?" "Me? Who needs you? Just a little gesture was enough to beckon you. And you came running without hesitation. Not even a sick child could stop you. Some man you are." Bill jumped up, fists clenched. You. Well, go ahead, hit me. Come on." He stood there, motionless. "See, you can't even do that. You can't do anything at all." Bill silently walked toward the door. He was just moments away from hitting her. It was all her fault, only her. She happened to come into his life at a time when he was uncertain. Any other person would have supported him, but she? It was all her, and only her. Bill stopped to have a smoke near the shopping center. Next to the wall, he saw a large poster. Well. Vivian, a young talent. The exhibition was taking place at the cultural center. It was curious what she was doing here. Their city, of course, wasn't the top one, but it wasn't New York either. Why did she come here? From other taxi drivers, he learned that there were indeed a lot of foreigners in the city. They came to buy paintings that hadn't sold for a long time precisely because of this exhibition. The foreigners paid well and left tips. So, is it worth going there? Absolutely. The closing time is supposed to be at 7 p.m. I'll grab a bite and go there too, even though I've had a pretty good day in terms of earnings. The mustached taxi driver got into his battered car and started the engine. Bill pulled out of the parking lot. It was almost an hour until 7 o'clock, so he would have enough time for 10 trips. At this time, there was no work in the city. Those who were coming home from work were already home, and those who planned to go for a walk were still at home. Many expensive and beautiful cars were parked near the cultural center. Taxis lined up along the edge of the parking lot. One car caught his attention. A white, massive SUV. Bill didn't immediately recognize the make. He got out of his car and circled the vehicle. Yes, not bad. I wonder how much it costs. He stood there a little longer and then got back into his own car. He didn't understand how he ended up falling asleep. Apparently, fatigue took its toll. Plus, the sun warmed him up. He snapped out of it when his phone rang. "Bill, why aren't you picking up? I've called 3 times already." "I didn't hear it." "Don't shout." "Where are you? You sound groggy." Bill hung up and cleared his throat. "No, you imagined it. I just stayed quiet for a long time." "Oh, well, okay, then. I was starting to think you're not working." "I'll finish my work, don't worry. Anyway, when you go home, buy some sour cream and herring." Bill wanted to ask where she got the money for that. She already squandered the earnings. But he bit his tongue in time. He was supposed to be working, not sleeping. Did you understand me? He didn't respond. He looked out the car window at the street. A woman was walking from the House of Culture. At first, he didn't pay attention to her, but then he froze. It was Kate. No doubts about it. And she was so beautiful, so fashionable that he felt a little disconnected from reality. It was as if 10 years hadn't passed. Although now she looked even better than when he left her. "Bill, can you hear me? Hello? What's wrong with this connection? We pay so much money for it." The phone fell onto the seat as Bill jumped out of the car. "Kate." The woman, who was already walking too slowly, as if waiting for someone, stopped, looked at him, and her eyes widened in surprise. "Bill?" "Yes, Kate. It's me. How could you not recognize me? And you look absolutely stunning." Kate's eyes turned cold. "Well, I didn't recognize you right away." "Thanks, I know." That's how it went. He was taken aback, thinking she would blossom from his compliment. "How's life, Kate?" "Everything is good, thanks." "How's Vivian?" Right now, he made a huge mistake. Well, why ask? It's obvious that Vivian is no longer here. No doctor could give her that much time. Why did he even bring up his daughter? Although, on the other hand, she is his daughter. Vivian is doing well too. He was surprised, and apparently, he showed it too clearly. "Is she really?" Then a young girlish voice spoke from somewhere beside him. "You won't believe it, Daddy, but contrary to your efforts, I didn't die." Bill turned abruptly. Standing next to him was a young girl. Yes, he immediately recognized her. It was his daughter, Vivian. Behind her stood a man slightly older than Bill himself, and he looked at him unfriendly. "Why are you like that, Vivian? I never wished you any harm." The girl burst into laughter. "You didn't wish us, including me, any harm when you left without money, knowing how much the medications cost? You knew very well that without them, I would die. Mom kept everything hidden, but I heard what you said to her before leaving. It's just that there's no evidence that your life became better without us. You didn't wish. Do you even know what we all had to go through? How they searched for a heart for me, how they found one, but in another country. We had only a few hours, and my heart stopped on the plane. Can you imagine what Mom went through while you were taking a break from us? If it weren't for Papa William, we wouldn't be talking to you now. It's only thanks to him that I'm alive. It's only thanks to him and Grandpa that I could come to my hometown for my own exhibition." Bill stood there silently, then asked. "So, the young artist Vivian is you? That's where you missed, Daddy." "Yes, that's me. If only you had money right now. And a life just the way you wanted it, or rather, you used to want. But no, it wouldn't be. You simply can't do the things Papa William is capable of. You know, they almost put him in jail because he made the pilots of a private plane land near the hospital area, otherwise I wouldn't have survived. Could you do that? No, Daddy, you wouldn't be able to do anything because you'd rather run away from difficulties and problems than solve them." The man placed his hand on Vivian's shoulder. "All right, that's enough. Calm down." The daughter and the man walked toward the big white car. Kate looked pensively at him. "But I won't ask how you're doing. I can see it for myself." "Well then, goodbye, Bill." He was about to say something in response when he heard Linda's desperate cry. "Bill, wait, don't leave." Oh my God, she was just at home, or maybe she didn't call from home. Linda ran up, panting, and handed her bag to Bill. "Oh, at least take me home, I'm so tired." Kate, who was already heading towards the car, abruptly stopped. She slowly turned around and stared at Bill's wife. "Linda?" Woman also turned towards her. She looked bewildered for a moment, but then seemingly recognized Kate. She gave her an assessing look and froze. "So, it was you who pushed my husband towards a better life, huh?" Kate smiled. "Linda, how much you wished me harm. I guess Bill only needed you to hurt me even more." I could never have imagined it was you. And you seem to be in a good place now. Well, it won't last long. You know how people fall from heights. Don't break yourself. I buried your daughter, didn't I? What a monster you are, Linda. No, my daughter is alive and well, and as you can see, quite successful. Linda glanced quickly at the poster and winced as if in pain. But what do you represent? So you've adorned yourself with expensive clothes at your daughter's expense, and what? Happiness is something you never had and never will, simple, family happiness for women. Linda triumphantly looked at her. At that moment, William came out of the car again. Kate, how much longer? You know our son will be very unhappy with your prolonged absence. He might even start throwing his toys. Kate gazed at William with loving eyes. Yes, you're right. Let's go. She turned to Linda and Bill. Well then, farewell. Goodbye, and good riddance. They walked towards the car. Bill jerked and followed. Kate. William turned around, gave him a disapproving look, and shook his head. The car maneuvered out of the parking lot. They watched it go. Suddenly, Linda's face twisted with anger. Oh, Kate. Well, don't worry, you'll cry at my shoulder. Bill, you should file for child support from your daughter. She has so much money, while you're barely making ends meet. I have acquaintances who can help us get you disabled, and she'll have to pay up. He turned to Linda. If you don't want to become disabled yourself right now, it's better to shut up. And what if I don't? What will you do, loser? Look at what you've gotten yourself into. For the first time in his life, Bill struck the woman, not too hard, just a slap on the lips, and walked towards the car. Linda screamed at the top of her lungs, help, help. Not finding any support because there was simply no one around, she ran after him. Bill, stop. What are you doing, acting like a child? Don't you want to live well? Just think about how much we can sue her for. She has so much money that she won't even notice. Linda managed to jump into the car at the last moment, and Bill acculindated away. His wife continued to babble in a high-pitched voice, but he didn't listen. There were simply no thoughts in his head. The large white car parked in front of a beautiful house. Well, here we are, home at last. Are you tired, Vivian? The girl looked at William with gratitude. No, Papa William, I'm fine. Let's go already. I can imagine how David tormented Grandpa. They entered the house, but it was quiet. It was strange because they thought the grandfather would be exhausted, while his 4-year-old grandson would have turned the house upside down. William peeked into a room. Papa? Then he turned to them, pointing his finger towards the room and pressed it against his lips. Kate and Vivian looked into the room and chuckled softly. Grandpa and the grandson were sleeping right on the fluffy carpet by the fireplace. Grandpa had a toy bow in his hand, and David had one too. Apparently, they had been playing so much that they fell asleep while playing. Papa, didn't the doctor tell you not to strain yourself? Mr. Henry, without opening his eyes, said. Who asked him to strain? So now I can't even play war games? David also woke up, blinked his sleepy eyes, and rushed towards Vivian but allowed Mom and Dad to give him a kiss too. Soon, the whole family was sitting around a big festive table. Vivian seemed thoughtful and Kate gently stroked her hand. Well, what's wrong, did it upset you? No, Mom. Actually, I feel relieved. I wanted to seek revenge on him so badly. But today, I realized that he has already avenged himself. Life has punished him. Kate pulled her daughter closer. Well, that's good. You should never seek revenge. Life will sort everything out in its own way. Mr. Henry raised his glass. I propose a toast to Vivian's success. It's simply astounding. And as an expert in this matter, I can say that there's still so much ahead. Thank you, Grandpa. It didn't even take 5 minutes before Mr. Henry raised his glass again. Now I want to raise a toast to your return. Family should live together and, of course, in their homeland. Another 5 minutes passed, and the glass was raised again. An hour later, Vivian and William led their tipsy grandfather to his bedroom. William said in surprise, "Dad, what was that? You never allowed yourself such indulgence before." Mr. Henry stopped and replied, "Son, if you only knew how glad I am that you have returned. You have no idea how lonely I was here." William looked at him with surprise. "But you never said anything." "Should I have?" "No, I didn't want to interfere with your lives." The old man fell asleep immediately. Vivian said, "He has suffered so much. Why didn't we come back sooner?" William hugged her. "It's all right. At least now we will all live together. You can paint, Mom can plant flowers as she wanted. Dad will help her, he also appreciates such beauty. And I will finally take care of the business that is located in this city." Vivian wiped away a tear. "And what about David?" "David will go to daycare. But he will get into fights there and mistreat the caregivers. They will constantly scold us and call us to the director's office. We'll set up a rotation and take turns dealing with it. Let's see who gives in first." Vivian chuckled softly and said, "Let's go, Mom. We're probably lost." They walked into the living room and saw Kate and Ms. Miranda sitting on the couch. Kate was looking at an album with a surprised expression. David had been constantly drawing in that album. "Mama, what's with your face?" "Vivian, just look." The girl peeked into the album, looked at it for a while, and then burst into laughter. "Congratulations, our family has gained another artist." They laughed and embraced each other. David, seeing such a commotion where everyone was hugging except him, immediately burst into loud tears. The whole family rushed to comfort him. Kate looked at her loved ones and realized that for a day like this, she would agree to go through everything she had already experienced. The most important thing was the outcome, and in the end, they were all happy.